Welcome back to Bedhaven, the safe place for safe plays. We are live. No, we're not live, but we're doing the Sunday Week 5 NFL show. We just recorded the Thursday night show and the early morning Sunday. So if you're watching this video, you might have missed the Thursday game, but you can still get all the information that we just talked about for the early Sunday game between the Jets and the Vikings.
There's some hot takes in there too. You're going to want to tune into that one and make sure you've got your showdown lineups ready. There are featured contests on DraftKings for the Jets-Vikings game. Don't forget to set your fantasy lineups because that's going to be kind of a sneaky morning game. If you need to set them Saturday night, if you need to hurry up and set it right now, do that. Also tune into the show. Hot takes in that one. But this one's going to be all about Sunday.
And Sunday.
And we've got some interesting matchups here. We've got some important games. We've got maybe some upsets I'm going to talk about. But if you want to get right into it,
do it.
We can go starting with stinker of a game. Dolphins, Patriots. Currently sitting at -1 for the Patriots. And the total is as low as you would expect, 36.5. I want to start off by saying, did you see the Dolphins versus the Titans?
I watched enough of it.
Because the Dolphins look terrible. They look lifeless. They look like they've got no fight in them. Tyreek Hill's on the sidelines screaming
at Mike. I saw somebody post a picture of Mike McDaniel in a Starbucks uniform because he looks like a barista with his hipster glasses. And yeah,
I just wish that Tyreek Hill would show as much fight on the field as he did against the Miami PD. Because that boy was scrambling against the Miami PD, but when he's on the football field, what do you have, 37 receiving yards or something? Show some fight, man. I tell you what, when the Miami PD was on you, he was fighting. He was showing some fight, some grit.
So
now he's on the football field against the Titans. No fight.
You're saying if the Tennessee Titans would have worn Miami
Tennessee
PD
Titans
uniforms instead of their throwback Titans uniforms.
If the Titans would have told him to roll down his window, he'd have had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Okay. Was not expecting us to go there, but I have to agree. He's literally on the sidelines. It's not screaming at Mike McDaniels, but like directly behind him. Don't know what he's saying.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody's like read his lips.
It's funny. It's like when you're not yelling at somebody, but you're yelling about them and you want them to hear you.
Yeah.
It's like when you're on the green on like hole 10 and there's a group on like hole 11 on the tee box and they haven't hit yet. And you like loudly, you're like loudly like, I can't believe these guys haven't hit yet.
Yeah.
Like you're not yelling at them, but you want them to hear like, hey, let's move it along here.
That's exactly what was happening. I mean, I don't know what anybody expected. It's pretty clear at this point that the Dolphins had like nothing in place ready for if Tua, got hurt.
Yeah, they look.
Skylar Thompson's been
lost.
there, but he's never really shown us the ability to like do it for real. And Tyler Huntley actually kind of surprisingly, like if you looked at what he did when he was with the Ravens and had to fill in for Lamar a handful of times, he had pretty decent numbers, but
it might take him a little bit. We might see him.
I think it's just a completely different type of offense. So
yeah.
I don't think he's gonna fit. I don't think he's gonna fit in that Dolphins offense the way that he was able to step in and do it for Lamar.
I will say also how good Skylar Thompson has it to live in Miami, to make millions, be the backup quarterback, go out there and stink every single time he's been on the field. I can't remember one game where I'm like, oh yeah, this dude's good.
Yeah.
And he keeps his job and still gets to live in Miami, and it seems like a pretty nice life to just be a bad backup quarterback, but continue to get paid. And when you do have to go play, you still lose, and he doesn't even get the heat.
No,
it's not like people are like, oh, he's terrible. Fire
no, it's McDaniels and
report. It's like, no. It's McDaniels.
Yeah.
It's it's that. It's not like, oh yeah, he's trash. It's like, no, we're gonna point the blame elsewhere.
That's
It's like, dude,
pretty fair.
Dude's got it made.
But as far as the game goes, you got this is in New England. They're favored by 1.5. Just enough. The under. Obviously, the Dolphins just hit the over with the Titans game, but
Yeah, this is just a gross game for me as far as DFS goes. I really won't have anything. Checking the weather. No real weather.
Looks fine right
yeah,
now.
no concerns really. Yeah, totals low. You could get a discount on Huntley, I guess, but he's still 5,600. He's still more expensive than some other starting quarterbacks.
I would say that
I
he's got rushing upside. That's about it.
Yeah, he's got rushing upside. I just don't know against a good defense here. I just don't see it. So for me, this is nothing. How about you?
I'm on the same page.
Perfect. All right, moving on. We've got Panthers, Bears. Another just real.
They really
good
got the
football game.
matchups.
Bears currently favored by 4 at most books.
I see 3.5 on FanDuel.
Okay. Is it minus 110 or minus 120? Probably minus 120.
For money line?
No, for the minus 3.5.
Oh yeah, it's minus 120.
Yeah. Okay. So it's basically the juice to get it to 3.5. Either way, it's in Chicago. Total sitting at 42, 41.5. Depends on where you want it. What do you think here? What's your initial reaction to this game? Because it is a tricky one.
How's the Bears defense?
I think that the Bears defense, I don't know what the stats say, but I think the Bears defense is pretty good. And I think that this spread is interesting because it's almost fishy to me because you would think that this spread would be closer.
Yeah. So
like Bears -4 against anybody sounds kind of wild. Like, damn, they got to win by 5. Like that seems kind of hard for them, but maybe we see a slide from the Panthers here.
this is where the Panthers fans get their soul crushed.
Yeah, this could be the one.
It's already hard enough to be a Panthers fan.
And we've seen it before, and we're kind of seeing it right now with Jaden Daniels, that as a rookie quarterback, you get a little bit more familiar, you get your timing a little bit better, and maybe we finally see that here from Williams. Also, DJ Moore revenge spot. So maybe something here for him.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah, so those just things to consider here. But as far as the defense for the Bears, let me pull up some totals. I remember seeing them they were in a primetime game not that long ago. I remember thinking that their defense really looked pretty good, but the offense just could not do anything.
Primetime, that would have been...
It's probably 2 weeks ago at this point.
They played at Houston. Was that...
Yeah, it was the Houston
PM game, the Sunday night
It was a
game?
Houston. Yeah, it was the Houston game where they lost 19-13.
Yeah.
It was the game where Stroud after the game, kind of like...
Oh yeah.
Hey, keep your head up. You know what I mean? Like trying to keep it. And Williams was not hearing it. He's like, dude, you're like the same age as me. Go away. The Bears got the win against the Rams last week. Let's see if they won the turnover battle, if there was anything crazy in this one as far as stats go. I like looking at these box scores just so you guys know. I like looking at back and seeing turnover battles to see if it was kind of a fluky game, if some weird stuff happened. The Bears won the turnover battle 2-0, which would be probably the difference in the reason they won the football game. So that actually doesn't bode well for them, in my opinion. But it's a tricky one for me. I think maybe a solo DJ Moore just because it's like a revenge spot for him. Yeah. What do you got? Anything?
Yeah, I would say that. And honestly, like how expensive is Caleb Williams? He's 5,800. The total's a little higher than I would have expected.
It'd be a sneaky stack spot.
I think that's what I would be looking at. I'd be looking at a Caleb Williams, DJ Moore stack. I think Caleb's got enough rushing upside for me for that. And then, like you said, you got a little bit of the revenge spot. But you got a 40, I don't know what it opened at. I'm seeing 41.5 total. That's
about where it's hanging.
That's fine. I mean, like some of these other games, I think the Titans Dolphins game was like 39.5 when it was all said and done. I don't know. I just would have expected that game to open up a little bit lower. And if I'm going to pick anything from that game, it would be a Williams Moore stack.
Yeah, it's a cheap stack too. So if you were looking to get expensive at running back, this would be a way to get there.
From the betting side, I'm going to be taking the Bears -3.5 though.
Okay. I think if I bet it, which I might, because I do think it's a little stitious.
Not superstitious,
Not
just a little
superstitious,
stitious.
but a little stitious. I would maybe include Bears money line in a parlay. But as far as DFS goes, yeah, maybe a cheap stack with Williams, DJ Moore. Beyond that, yeah, not much for me. All right. Next game is the Colts at the Jaguars. Jaguars favored by 3 right now. Total is sitting at 46. This is another one where I'll check the weather because it's in Jacksonville. Ooh, potentially getting rain showers here. Definitely keep an eye on that. I'm currently seeing 65% chance of rain, 12-mile-per-hour winds. So check that before kickoff if you're going to stack this game. But something that jumps out to me is Flacco potentially starting. We'll see. We don't have a report yet, really, as far as who's going to be the starting quarterback. Richardson, we're filming this on Wednesday. He was limited in practice today.
It's a hip injury, wasn't it?
Oblique strain.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If Richardson is out, Flacco is 5,500, and I believe him to be serviceable. He went into the game and was great still. 16 for 26, 168 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they won the football game. As far as backups go, I think Flacco is probably one of the better ones in the league at this point. So keep an eye on that. Flacco potentially stacked with any one of those receivers. It's so hard to predict. But
are we still waiting on a Pittman?
Yeah,
breakout?
you've got Pittman. I think he actually got. Yeah, he actually finally did have a breakout game in this last game with Flacco for most of the game. So yeah, didn't have the touchdown, but he had 6 catches for 113 yards. So yeah, potentially Flacco, Pittman stack. You could also go Downs. I don't know how cheap Downs is. 5,100. He also had a great game. 8 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown. So something to consider. You could also consider Richardson if Richardson's fine. He's 6,000 instead of Flacco being 5,500. But if it's raining, probably throw it all out the window. What do you think?
Yeah, I would be interested in. I don't know what the lines or the pricing or anything says on ETN, but Tank Bigsby came in and had 7 carries for 90 yards to ETN's like 11 carries for 50 yards or something like that. So, he had 1 catch for 10 yards. ETN did. So you're seeing Trevor Lawrence struggle pretty mightily at this point. He was 18 for 33 on completions. That's not far above 50%. He threw for 2 touchdowns, but like his completion numbers are terrible right now. And his total yardage is like 169 yards. So I don't know what's going on with him.
Can recall a time not that long ago when people were literally ripping off other people for Trevor Lawrence cards, rookie cards.
Yes.
They were canceling themselves by selling cards, and then
I bet you Trevor Lawrence market as far as the card market goes,
it's plummeted.
Yeah, it's probably down pretty bad right now. It'd be a good time to buy in if you still believe.
If you still believe, yeah. I've got a couple of interesting cards actually. I've got 2 Isaiah Likely signed rookie cards. So if the Ravens win the Super Bowl or something.
Where the hell did you get that?
When Isaiah Likely was in college and he was coming out, I think this dude's going to be a superstar. So I went out and specifically purchased Isaiah Likely rookie cards signed. And right now it's kind of silly and we can laugh about it, but maybe in like a couple years, if Isaiah Likely is a Super Bowl champion.
If he keeps getting 1 catch for 26 yards, though.
He's been very up and down. But he's dealing with this whole Andrews thing. And I hate to say it, but I think Andrews is done. He's looked not great. In that last game, they won the game obviously, but he had a wide open drop, bad drop.
Something's going on with him. It might be time, but
I think he's like fading out. But
now that we're saying that, he's gonna have
he'll go off. But yeah, Isaiah Likely rookie cards. Holler at me if you want one.
Yeah. That's about all. Especially if the rain, I think you could see ETN more handles and some dump off passes.
Yeah, I still believe in
so.
ETN. I think that he's still a good running back, and
the game was pretty competitive against the Texans as well. So.
Yeah, his prices continue to go down. He was a limited participant in practice today. ETN, yeah, he's got a shoulder deal going on. Bigsby was also limited in practice.
Well, it was his first game back from injury, so
yeah. So you got something to keep an eye on there. Sunday morning, look at the actives, inactives. If one of those guys is out,
pick the other
and play them. I mean, probably regardless of rain, because they're going to get 80 to 90% of the snap share. So I always love that. Probably love it even more if it's ETN because you're getting the price discount.
Yep.
5,900 on Tank. So.
All right. What's your next game?
Next game is Bills-Texans in Houston. Bills are favored by 1 coming off the loss. Total is sitting at 47.5. One of the higher totals of the week here in Houston. So we've got a dome game. Man, this one could be one that you just load.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could just load it up here. My gut tells me Josh Allen off a loss, off of a game where he didn't look very good. Potentially a really good buy low spot, even though he is the highest priced quarterback on DraftKings this week, 7,700. But Stroud is 7,200, and I believe Allen's ceiling to be higher than Stroud's. So that would probably be my play. And then you can just take a flyer on their receivers. I will say one thing, and I think Keon Coleman is going to continue to play better and better and become at the end of the season, if Coleman can stay healthy, he will be their number 1 receiver. He has shown flashes of greatness.
Yeah.
They had a couple of really key back shoulder throws where the timing looked great. It looked like Rodgers to Devontae.
Mm-hmm.
If they can get that going, he can become the number 1 receiver on that team over Kincaid, over Shakir. He's cheap this week, 4,700. So potentially it's this week.
I think Shakir's just got a different style of game. I could see Keon being like the deep threat, over the top, all the 50-50 balls. Shakir's just like this, like quick inside slant. Like just you could hit him with a bunch of targets, but it's going to be harder to get him deep on certain coverages and whatnot. But yeah, Keon, I could see it. I mean, he's had a couple drops, but typically when you see him drop a ball, he'll turn around and they'll throw it to him pretty soon after, and he'll secure it. But yeah, what side of this game you want Bills because of the loss they just took?
Yeah, I think this is a great spot for the Bills coming off a loss. I think they're a good football team. The Ravens, that was such a good spot for the Ravens, like prime time at home, really needing a win. That just felt like a good spot for the Ravens. I was on the Ravens and won a little bit on that, so that was good.
I think if you do that, you can. But I do think it's you can very easily run it back.
But it could be a potential just like loaded up both sides.
Yeah, run it back with Diggs. You got a little Diggs.
Oh yeah, Diggs revenge spot here.
Call it revenge spot. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, you could absolutely stack this game. There's so many pieces.
I'll probably
Keon Coleman's 4,700.
Exactly. So. I think that this will be a great spot for him. And a matter of fact, let's go ahead and book it. Keon Coleman, anytime touchdown, plus 150. Book it.
That's actually kind of low.
It's because he's going to score a touchdown.
What's
maybe the first touchdown? I'm not betting that, but maybe. Texans are 3-1, and they They haven't looked.
Plus 150? What is that on?
DK.
That feels low, man. It's
because he's going to be their number one wide receiver. He's going to
He's-
smash this week.
He's scored once.
Yep. I'm telling you, Keon Coleman.
It's
at some
plus
point,
210 on FanDuel.
target Keon Coleman in season-long fantasy right now. See if you can finagle something for him. I'm telling you, potential number one receiver for Josh Allen. I'm not going to say he's going to be Diggs, but Josh Allen needs a number one receiver right now bad. And I think that Coleman could be that guy. So
Plus 1,500, Keon Coleman first touchdown.
maybe
15 to 1. Running back with a Diggs anytime touchdown.
maybe. The problem is with Diggs, there is so many guys. I mean, there's guys on the Bills too, but there are so many guys on that Houston side that can score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to predict them unless it just goes off, which it might. But yeah, for me, Allen, Coleman, run it back with Diggs if you want. Collins is really good. Schultz is sneaky. Probably not that expensive either.
Yeah, one of the higher game totals on the slate. So if you're gonna pick one of them to blow out, this would definitely be or shootout.
Yeah,
I guess I should say.
you could double tight end it here. You could Kincaid and Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
You could really load it up, and I think that that's what I will do on, at least a team as far as in the early only contest.
Wait, would that be a double Dalton? Isn't it Dalton Schultz and
It is.
double Dalton?
Double Dalton could be a play. Could be a sneaky little stack.
Yeah.
But yeah, great game to target. I have no problem with just loading up on that one.
All right. What's the next game you got?
Next game is another super high total. It is the Ravens at the Bengals. Ravens currently favored by 2.5. Total, I believe, is the highest of the week because the Bengals defense is terrible at 49.5. What do you got?
That's interesting.
This is your boys. What do you got? What are you thinking? Do you believe that they can win this football game? In Cincinnati.
I believe they can because I believe even when the Ravens look like they currently look, in the past, the Bengals have found a way to win this game. Now they've also found a way to lose this game by a field goal like I can remember so many times. So the question is, can their defense step up and stop an offense that just looked unstoppable last game? You got freaking did Justice Hill have 100 receiving yards last game? Because it sure as hell looked like it.
Tell you what, that's probably the play, by the way, as you were saying that. I can also think of a lot of field goal games against this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
You should probably just wait until Sunday. And by the time if you're listening to this Sunday morning or whatever, look and see if it's Ravens -3 and take the Bengals and the 3 points. It will probably get to 3 or 3.5 because of how good the Ravens looked and how not so great, to average that the Bengals have looked. So if you can get a key number here, if you can get 3, if you can get 3.5, I do believe that is a good spot for the Bengals. Take the points. But yeah, go ahead.
They've won 3 out of the last 4 matchups.
Okay. Close ball games.
34-20 W, 27-24 W, 16-27 L, 19-17 W. So yeah, pretty close minus 2 games.
Mm-hmm. Just looking at the box score here. Turnovers in the Bills-Ravens game, 1-1. So nothing really juicy there. And then the Bengals last game.
Burrow threw a pick.
Against the Panthers. Anything that jumps out to me here? 1-1. So nothing really. Yeah, no really sneaky anything there. Yeah, I think tight ball game, and I think take the points if you can get 3 or 3.5 for the Bengals. As far as DFS goes, this is another game that you could jump all over. Let me take weather-wise real quick. Slight chance of thunderstorms, but it's like 20%, so I wouldn't expect anything to happen there. Yeah, this is one you could load up. You could really load this one up. You could even get sneaky with this and put Lamar as your quarterback and like double receiver the Bengals or something weird, like Higgins Chase with Lamar up top, because when the Ravens offense is typically the Lamar show. It wasn't in the last game where Derrick Henry turned the clocks back and was running away. I could not believe when he broke through the line that he didn't get caught immediately. It looked like Shaq running down the sideline.
Yeah.
But he wasn't getting caught. And I was like, and I had first touchdown. I had maybe Zay Flowers or something. But when Henry got through the line and he pulled away, I was like, okay, well, the corners they're gonna catch him and like probably ankle tackle him or something. They didn't even catch him. Like, how slow are the damn safeties for the Bills? I was blown away.
You want to hear something funny? I full faded Derrick Henry on that slate.
I did too.
I did it with Justice Hill. I had
well, that was fine then.
and it still wasn't enough.
I was all over Zay Flowers in that game, captain, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I also had a side bet on just Ravens money line, which saved my night. But yeah, I had no Derrick Henry.
I think it would be an interesting time to take the Derrick Henry under on rushing yards.
Listen, I agree. I'm according to the way I bet, I'm usually, this is a great spot to jump off here, and not bet it and bet the under or something. The problem is, where's the Bengals run defense at? Because I've seen their pass defense.
Well, that's the thing. Their pass defense is terrible. So you just.
But is the run D any good?
No.
Like, is any part of this defense serviceable? Because I don't know that it is. Panthers ran for 155. Yeah, no, not great.
No, it's not good.
The Panthers averaged 5.3 per rush.
Ramondre Stevenson had like 100. I don't know how many yards, but he ran all over us.
Hubbard went for 104, and I wouldn't say Hubbard's exactly like dynamite.
No.
Maybe.
I'm telling you, it's a good spot.
I'll tell you what. If the over-under's sitting at like 110,
it's 83 and a half.
Oh, see, I don't know, dude.
He's hit in the last 3 games.
Yeah, I don't. I think I'm gonna have to say no on that one. Now
I'll tell you right now, my projection's showing lower.
Well, you can throw those damn projections out the window, but what you don't have to do is pay up for Derrick Henry in this spot. 7,800. He's the most expensive running back this week. Have no problem with you not picking him. So I will say that. Now, whether he goes under his yards, I don't know. Whether he punches in 2 touchdowns from the 1 yard line, that's possible too. But yeah, I have no problem with not going to him as a running back because of how high his price is. Chase is priced up here too, 8,000. But they're starting to get it going.
Yeah.
He's had 2 touchdowns and 1 touchdown last 2 games, so they're starting to get it going. Higgins is still priced fairly cheap, 6,000. He just hasn't gotten a touchdown yet. Got to think that's coming. So
he's getting red zone targets. I know that.
I don't hate a Higgins anytime touchdown.
I had it last week and it didn't hit, obviously, but yeah, I kind of agree. It's
10 targets last game.
It's coming at some point.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, just you could potentially load it up. Don't have to go to Henry for me. I don't think that he's a must-have. If I had to say a must-have in this game, it might be Higgins. 6,000. What's Zay Flowers at? Zay Flowers 6,400. Man, he had a disgusting game in the last game, but they didn't really need him. So it's one of those deals where he could be a buy low spot. Last game, only 2 targets, 1 catch, 10 yards. Yikes. But again, Derrick Henry was running for 30 yards every time they gave him the ball. So didn't really need Zay Flowers.
Right.
So don't don't really worry about that box score too much. I think Zay Flowers would be a good play this week. Yeah. So for me, stack wise, it's either Lamar and Zay Flowers, or it's Burrow and Higgins.
Okay.
And I also have no problem with you having Flowers and Higgins with whatever quarterback you want up top. So that'd be it for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think I'm off all the running backs. We saw a little bit of a breakout from Chase Brown last game with the Bengals. Everybody seems to think that he should be the lead back.
Tough to predict.
Yeah.
That's a coin flip.
I think Moss is fine.
know.
I think Moss is, but I could see this being like, let's throw the ball around type game, and then the running backs become the lesser of the offensive prowess.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's no running backs for me in this one. Yeah, just because they're kind of hard to predict. Maybe Hill. Maybe if the Ravens get down. Let's check Hill's price real quick. That's the only thing that just came.
Probably bumped because of the game he had last game.
A little bit. I mean, but not that much. 5,300. The cheapest out of the 4 running backs in this game. Yeah, potentially. I could see that. Potentially, if you stack Burrow with Higgins and Chase, you could bring it back with Flowers and Hill as a kind of they're playing from behind kind of strategy. So that's how you should be thinking about these games when you're loading up on a game. What happens if this happens? And Hill is their pass catching back. If they get down, Hill's going to get more time. He's going to get more touches. They'll take Derrick Henry out of the game. But if they're winning, you're going to see a lot of Derrick Henry. We saw that in the Bills game. Next game. Browns at Commanders. Commanders are favored by 3 at some books, 3.5 at others. Total sitting at 43.5. I've heard so much about these damn Commanders in the group chat recently. I'm starting to hate them even more than I already did as a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
I've heard that Jaden Daniels is going to win the MVP. I've heard a lot of things about Jaden Daniels. While he has played well, I will give him that. I don't think he's going to win the MVP. And I also don't think he's going to make it through the season. Now, I'm not trying to jinx the guy, but as a running quarterback who's a rookie, those running rookie quarterbacks don't have a great track record as far as making it through their first season because they're used to just running around all over the place and nobody can tackle them. That doesn't happen in the NFL. Usually you get tackled, and when you get tackled by big, strong guys, you get hurt. So hopefully that doesn't happen to him. Not trying to jinx him. He's looked great. He's fun to watch.
God, he is. I can see it now.
But when he gets hurt, I'm just going to kind of be like, I didn't want that, but I kind of expected it.
Say it. Say roll the clip.
No, I don't. No, I don't want it. You're going to roll the clip anyways, and I'm looking like a jerk. But I'm telling you, it's not what I want.
No. I have to agree. I mean, I've said the same thing about Lamar. I think the difference between Lamar is he legitimately is like
Lamar is
he's a generational runner.
Exactly. And he got, I don't want to say lucky, but kind of. He got lucky early on in his career that he figured it out. Like it clicked. Like he understood like, oh, these guys are really, really good athletes and they're going to tackle me and it's going to hurt and I don't want to get hurt. So I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to slide when I need to. I'm going to get out of bounds when I need to. I'm not going to just constantly go 100% and try to get every yard because you can't.
And even he has dealt with some injury.
To an extent. That's why I'm saying he got lucky because he's dodged the big one.
Right.
And as long as you can dodge the big one, you can come back from little tweaks and stuff. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen to Jaden Daniels. As far as this game goes,
I might bet the Browns just... So if they do win, then I can just...
Browns 1-3, Commanders 3-1. Let's dive into the box score here. Let's see what the box score was. The Cardinals obviously got slapped by the Commanders. Let's see how many turnovers we had. If it was a turnover fest, it was not. We got 1 turnover to 1 turnover. So nothing really there. Ton of yards for the Commanders. And in the Browns game...
Lost to the Raiders.
Watson threw an interception. 20-16, lost to the Raiders. Turnovers were 1-1, so nothing really jumps out there either. Man, this is a tricky one because I kind of think that the Browns are going to win,
I'm going to bet them to win. That's for sure.
but you got to think if they win, how are they going to get there?
Jerome Ford masterclass.
It's just it's a lot.
Did you hear what I just said?
I just don't know
Masterclass.
if that's I don't know if that's the likely outcome there. What's his 10 touches for 58 yards in the last game?
Raiders defense is all right.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, maybe it's a Deshaun Watson game. Deshaun to
Anytime?
No. Maybe it's Deshaun like to Cooper.
I could see that.
Tell you what, Jerome Ford got 7 catches in the last game.
Masterclass.
And did not score a touchdown. Maybe that's the play.
Jerome Ford anytime touchdown.
Jerome Ford anytime touchdown.
Book it.
Bucket. I actually like that.
Roll the clip. After you roll the clip of Jaden Daniels getting his
No. Jerome Ford 5,800.
That's cheap.
It's cheap if you think he's going to score a touchdown.
I'm as far as these types of, if I'm picking a game, listen, I know the Commanders are doing what they're doing and they're throwing the ball and McLaurin and Jaden Daniels and who the hell else is they throwing the ball to?
Exactly. Luke McCaffrey.
Oh,
Zacchaeus.
Listen, it's the Browns.
Yami Brown.
Listen, Browns money line and Jerome Ford anytime. That's it.
I'll tell you what.
That's the tweet.
I think for me, I do like Jerome Ford. I think for me, it's Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has had, as a Cowboys fan, I should know this. He's had some monster games against the Commanders. I almost said the other one. Against the Commanders, he's had some monster games. I was in Dallas for a Thanksgiving game where Amari Cooper went bananas on the then Redskins. Now they're the Commanders. I like Deshaun Watson paired with Amari Cooper as a stack. I think that that makes a lot of sense. And let me tell you, it's cheap. Deshaun Watson, 5,300 on DraftKings. Amari Cooper, 6,200. It's a pretty good cheap stack against what I believe to be a very bad defense for the Commanders. I don't mind Jerome Ford either. I don't know if I necessarily have to have him in the stack. I might stack Deshaun and Cooper and then run it back with McLaurin. That's probably how I'll attack this. But then I'll probably play in other lineups where I'm stacking other games. I'll probably play Jerome Ford as a solo and just hope that he snakes the touchdowns and it doesn't go to Cooper or Deshaun. That's how I'll attack this game. What do you got? What do you like?
I love that. And it's a higher game total than I would have anticipated. 43.5 is what I'm seeing on FanDuel.
Yes.
I think that could be – those are the types of stacks that win you millions of dollars.
Millions.
Because nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to be like, oh, let me stack Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper and run it back with
I agree.
Austin Eckler.
That would be a stack that I would use in a larger single entry contest. Like the more entries, the better, because usually those are the ones with the higher payouts. That'd be where I would target that. I believe that's the last 1:00 game as well. So that would be for me a potential early only contest stack because you're only getting a certain amount of games there. And yeah, not a lot of people are going to go there.
What is Austin Eckler done? Anything?
He's hurt. He's coming. He might be questionable this week though. He did not play in the last game though. Robinson played. Robinson also questionable. Robinson did not practice today.
I'll tell you what. If Eckler's
Wednesday,
in,
and Eckler was a limited participant in practice,
so he's probably playing.
Maybe it's Eckler's is a concussion, and Robinson is a knee.
If Eckler's in, he's my run back.
Okay.
if I'm stacking the Browns.
Yeah, that'd be another thing for me. If Robinson is out and Eckler is in, you can definitely play Eckler 5,600 as a running back that's going to get a lot of touches, a lot of work in a potential higher scoring game where they're potentially, in my mind, playing from behind.
Yep.
So
Love it.
next game would be, we're starting our 4:00 games now. This is Raiders at Broncos. Broncos favored by 2.5 at most books. Total is sitting at 36.
I got 35.5 on FanDuel.
Okay.
I'll keep this short, and you can say what you want after this.
Okay.
I'm right over this game. Got no interest in it.
Yeah, I got no interest. I will say Devontae Adams basically asking for a trade is interesting.
He's gonna get it too.
Be curious to see where he lands.
I know where he's going.
Where's he going?
The Dallas Cowboys.
I'd love that, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't know where he's going, but
I think potentially, obviously, Jets is a possibility. I don't know what they'd have to give up. Probably just something ridiculous, honestly. So maybe that doesn't happen. Another one that makes a lot of sense in my mind is the Chiefs. If Rice is hurt.
Oh, that's where he's going then.
I could see the Chiefs saying, "Hey, we've got a Super Bowl winning team minus a receiver now.
Yeah,
I need a receiver. I'll give up whatever it takes." So I could see that.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
I'll give up Juju Smith-Schuster
and Travis Kelce
and a bag of used footballs. Can you imagine if they got rid of Kelce? Oh my God, that would be amazing. That'd be the end of his career, and then I wouldn't have to see him on my freaking TV.
All right, you got any interest in this game? Because I hate it.
No, next game.
All right, perfect.
Cardinals at 49ers. 49ers are a 7-point favorite at most books.
7.5 on FanDuel.
And I'm just going to start. I'm
it's
just
weird because it's different on every single one that you've read.
I know. And total sitting at 49.5 on FanDuel.
Bingo.
There, I'm just going to say FanDuel for Daniel every single time. Very high total here. This is the highest, tied kind of with the Bengals Ravens. Under.
Why is this total so high?
Probably because the Cardinals defense has shown to be bad.
All right,
but beyond
is Brandon
that,
Ayuk gonna pick apart the Cardinals defense?
Maybe.
No.
You don't think so?
Brandon Ayuk, more like Brandon I puke every time I watch you play football because you suck.
Nice one. Got him.
I saw that on TikTok.
Perfect.
Gotta add another couple more people to the parlay ban list. Brandon Ayuk, more like Brandon I puke.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah, that was that guy. Shout out, it's B Tidy.
For me, man, you might have to just go back to Mason again. He's finally like way priced up. He's the
I don't think you have to use
fourth
him,
highest running back that's going to play, it looks like. 7,400. He's pretty good. And the 49ers are obviously good, even without some of their weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, without a doubt, I think the 49ers potentially are the best 2-2 football team. I'd say them and the Jets. Probably the best 2-2 football teams right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think the Cardinals are very good. I especially don't think their defense is very good. Their offense is very up and down.
They've got pieces.
For me, this might just be a solo Mason play and just move on. I really don't. I don't know.
I think some people are gonna like look at this game.
Just load it, you think?
Yeah, and I'm not interested in that. It's a high game total.
Purdy 6,200 is reasonable.
Yeah, but you got Mason touching the ball so much. Like
Debo is in. Last game he played, 5 targets, 3 catches, 58 yards, no touchdown. 6,800. Ayuk is in, 6,300. He's been pretty disappointing. Nothing really to speak of there as far as what he's done. Kittle was a non-participant in practice today. But in the last game, he did have a touchdown, 4 catches, 45 yards. It's tricky, man. I really don't. I think this is kind of, for me, might just be a solo play on the 49ers part. I expect the 49ers to score, but it just might be like a solo Mason play or a solo Debo play or something like that. I really don't see a full-fledged stack. But that's just me. It could be totally wrong. This game could go bananas, but for me, it's just going to be one-offs probably with Mason and Debo, maybe Ayuk, just solo. That guy goes off, and that's it. What do you say? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Mason, but I don't really have a ton of interest in this game. I'd have to look at like what Ayuk has done with Debo in versus what he's done without, and see if there's any kind of leverage there. But
You got to think that Ayuk's sitting on a big one. He was really good last year.
That's what she
He got
said.
paid, but he hasn't done anything. He hasn't scored more than double-digit fantasy points all year. He's got
really,
his fantasy points are like 6, 5,
Yeah.
8, like nothing great. So maybe he shows up. I don't know, but
well,
not much for me. Just one-offs, but that's about it.
yeah, that's fine with me. I like it.
All right, next game is the Giants at the Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 6.5 at FanDuel, 6 at other books. Total sitting at 43.5. We just saw the Seahawks play the Lions, and even though the Lions won, the Seahawks did look pretty good. They did have the ability to move the football up and down the field. Don't know how good the Lions defense is, but I was actually shocked that the Seahawks actually did look legit. I really did not think they were legit at all. They were undefeated going into the game, now sitting at 3-1. These are two teams for me, though, that I don't really know what they are.
Right.
Like, I know the Seahawks are pretty good, but are they like really good?
I think
I don't know.
I think they're way better when Kenneth Walker is in the lineup.
Kenneth Walker looks good.
Yeah,
That one play where he flipped,
dude,
he was like tackled and then he like just like freaked out and like got out of it and then flipped and like I was like, what just happened? I've never seen that.
I don't know how he didn't go down. Like
he didn't, and he didn't.
I know, it's crazy.
Absolutely didn't.
But yeah, I think he just opens up a ton for their receivers. And but he just hasn't stayed healthy. So
no, but after seeing that play, I was convinced that he is healthy.
that he's 100% right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to believe.
So
that
if he can
he's
stay
good
that
to
way,
go.
I absolutely think that they're a legit squad. Solid enough defense, but it's just gonna. It's good as we get later into the season and start to see the games that really count. We'll start to know, because right now they're playing with, they're playing a little loose. When things get tighter, I guess we'll see. And if Kenneth Walker can stay healthy and if they can continue to put up the amount of points that they're putting up, then yeah, they're absolutely a legit squad.
Yeah, I think they're a good football team. I think they're a playoff football team. I just don't know how good. I don't know if they're like that, like top 6 team, or if they're like that, like between 10 and 15. Like I don't know. I don't have them quite figured out yet. And another team that they're playing, I don't have quite figured out yet, is the Giants. I know that the Giants are probably at the end of the season, they'll be a below 500 team, but I don't know if they're like one of the 3 worst teams in the NFL or if they're like the 20th best team in the NFL. Like, I don't know. I know they're 1-3. I obviously watched the Cowboys game where the Cowboys kind of squeaked it out, honestly. Looking at the box score here, the Giants turned it over 1 time. Yards were pretty even, around 300 for both teams. Giants really struggled to run the ball. Only rushed for 26 yards. So that's not good. That would be a glaring weakness of this team. Malik Neighbors looks really, really good.
Is he injured?
I haven't got an update on him. You can pull that up. He had 12 catches for 115 yards against Cowboys.
He's not in the projections right now. That's why I think he might be questionable, but
I can pull up DraftKings. Questionable, concussion, did not participate in practice today. So something to keep an eye on there. As far as stacking this game, it's nothing for me, so I don't need to spend too much time. I don't know if you have a a good feel for this one, but I don't have a good feel for it. Therefore, I will just probably try to ignore it, except for maybe a one-off with Walker.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, next game is Green Bay Packers at the Los Angeles Rams. Packers are favored by 3, and the total is sitting at 48.5. This just might be a Packers bet for me. As far as stacks go, maybe the problem with the Packers stacking the Packers is you don't know which receiver
Yeah.
is going to do it. It's not like a clear, like, okay,
Well,
I think the Packers
we saw
win.
both of them do it last game, to be completely honest. So I think between Reed and didn't I say Wicks had a really good game?
Yeah. You've got Reed, Dobbs, and Wicks, and they're
True, I forgot
6,500,
about Dobbs.
5,400, and 5,000. It's just, you're almost just dart throwing with these guys. I don't know which one's going to do it. Tricky play, but I do love the Packers. I do think they're a very good football team. But yeah, as far as like a DFS play, picking which one of those guys is going to go off is tough.
I think you just roll with the cheaper one. If you're gonna throw them in the lineup, I think you just pick whoever's the cheaper option, which is probably Dobbs. He had 8 targets and 4 catches last game. So even though he didn't have the same breakout yardage,
also another really good 2-2 football team.
touchdown. Huh?
Also another really good 2-2 football team, Packers.
Yeah, true.
Christian Watson looks like he is doubtful, so that's one less receiver you have to worry about as far as trying to pick. But as far as the Rams side goes, yeah, receiver-wise, they got not much. Kupp is out. Nakua's still out. Robinson's questionable. Atwell is an option. Johnson's an option. I just don't see much on that side. I think the Packers dominate this game.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you have a good feel for which receiver the Packers is going to be the guy, then you could play that. You could play Kyron Williams on the backs. You could stack this game. You could go Love with one of the receivers, bring it back with Kyron Williams, getting a bunch of dump offs for the Rams. Or you could one-off it, which is probably more likely what I'm going to do is maybe just one-off it with just Jacobs and hope that Jacobs runs in the touchdowns. That'll probably be my play just because I don't want to throw a dart and try to pick the right receiver.
Jacobs hasn't scored yet this season.
Is he not?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Which is kind of surprising. I mean,
is it a Jacobs anytime?
He ran for 151 yards against the Colts and didn't score a touchdown. That's ridiculous.
It's got to be a Jacobs anytime with a total sitting at 48.
What's his red zone rush attempts look like? So 2 against the Colts, 3 against the Titans, and 1 against the Vikings.
Josh Jacobs will score a touchdown in this game.
Had 2 red zone targets against the Vikings. Still no tutty.
Jacobs, anytime touchdown. Roll the clip. No, for real though, I do like Jacobs in the spot. I think that he might just be my one-off play. I'll stack elsewhere. But this game is very stackable though. You could take your shots and hope that you get the right receiver because there very well could be a Packers receiver in this game that goes bananas.
This slate seems juicy. This seems like a slate that you could really make some money on. There's a lot of stackable options, and there's a lot of high game totals. I feel like if you pick your spots here, like you could really do some damage. I'm really loving the more I look at it, the Brown stack, just because I think there's going to be so many other people on other options. So
yeah, the obvious ones will be Packers, Rams, Cardinals, 49ers. If you're playing full slate, Bengals, Ravens, Bills, Texans, even maybe Colts, Jags, depending on rain. Yeah, lots of options. And yeah, I think that if you're in a big contest, it could be do the sneaky one. And maybe the sneaky one goes off, which could be Browns or something, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right, well, that takes us to our final Sunday game, which is Dallas at Pittsburgh.
Dallas,
That's the final game, right?
it's the Sunday night game.
Yeah.
So I guess technically it's not even on the slate, right?
That's true, but we might as well.
We could dive in as far as
Yeah.
is Showdown up for that?
Probably not. It probably is, actually.
Nope.
Hmm.
So there's no stats.
Well, just
I'll
look
just
at what's the total and stuff.
Steelers are favored by
What?
1.5,
The Steelers are favored.
and the total is sitting at 44. Yeah.
You smell that?
So you think Steelers win?
That smells fishy. That smells
Yeah, I got it.
real fishy.
Well, the Steelers are 3-1 at this point.
They're a bad 3-1 team. I don't give
I
a
agree.
what anybody says.
But you could say the Cowboys are a bad 2-2 team. I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan at this point, but I don't think that we're a great 2-2 football team. I think we're going to end up somewhere around 500 probably at the end of the year. This is a tricky one.
You're going to give me a 43.5 game total and tell me that the Steelers are going to win? That's what you're going to do? Give me the Cowboys.
I definitely don't believe in the Steelers offense. I don't know. It's tough for me with the Cowboys because my heart's in it always. So it's tough for me to say, what I truly think. I don't know. This is a coin flip for me. As far as Showdown goes, I'll probably bet the Cowboys side. I'll have CD at captain, bring it back with Dak. Ooh, this is a perfect. I'll tell you this. If you believe that the Cowboys are going to win this football game, this is a perfect Jalen Warren game where the Steelers will be down and they will be passing it to him. It won't be dump offs to Najee. It'll be Warren.
Sucks.
He could potentially catch 5+ passes. It could also be a good spot. Parlay Cowboys money line, which is currently sitting at plus 120. Cowboys money line with the over on Warren receptions. There you
Book
go.
it.
That's it for me.
And Najee Harris is getting mad at reporters because they said Justin Fields is the reason they won. So,
Oh boy.
did you see that?
No.
He's like, it's not just one guy. I don't know why y'all talking about Justin Fields like and then he like stopped himself. He's like, it's a whole team. It's the whole team. We all won. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's not Justin Fields. It really is the whole team. It's mainly the coaching staff. Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the NFL, and his ability to find wins.
What he's got.
Yeah, his ability to just game plan and find wins in ugly fashion is incredible. He's been doing it for years now. I wish he was my coach instead of that idiot we've got to coach.
Which idiot are you talking about?
McCarthy. Looking like a damn donut on the sidelines. Just ridiculous. He looks like a donut.
Najee Harris, 13 carries for 19 yards.
Yeah.
It's
him. That's why they're winning. It's Najee's incredible performances.
Oh my God, what a joke. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's the play for me. That's the parlay. I will have that parlay. Make sure you guys have that parlay. We will post it on Instagram. It will be Cowboys money line, Jalen Warren over receptions, and maybe over receptions on yards as well. We'll see what numbers we get there. But that's the play. That's the slate. Good luck.
Free money. You're welcome.
Free money.
Anything else?
No. I just hope that Tyreek Hill shows some fight this week. And so does the Miami PD.
Why do they hope that? I don't think they hope that.
Well, they're probably betting on the game. They're probably pro Miami football, so they got some money down.
They're taking all of the money that they've stolen from. That's the show. All right, we appreciate you tuning in. As always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, like the show, rate the show, click the link in the bio, get yourself access to all the deposit matches and bonus bets across various sports books.
Real quick, potential weather in Pittsburgh for the Cowboys Pittsburgh game. Keep an eye on that Sunday night. Check the weather. Just keep that in mind.
That's not a dome?
No.
I'm joking. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.